Welcome everyone to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Good evening, everybody.
All right, so what's going on, bro?
So yeah, it's kind of funny. I got a Facebook message from one of my friends. We're planning to go see Venom on Thursday night, and he attached in his post, or the post itself was that thing saying that about 30 to 40 minutes of the movie had been cut, and it's the 40 minutes of the movie that it was apparently Tom Hardy's favorite parts in the movie have been cut, which my friend made a good point, and you had made this point too. That sounds probably like all the rated R stuff.
Yeah.
That was probably in the movie that they cut to get it to PG-13. And I responded to him and I was like, oh, it sounds like we're in for a wonderful show.
Yeah, I mean, you got a situation where you're leading man of the show, of the movie. All his favorite stuff's not in there. So,
but do you notice like a pattern? Like not to like cut off your point or anything, but do you notice a pattern with with Sony movies that it's either the cast or the crew always seems to have something to say about the movies?
Yeah.
And it's usually never really positive.
Yes. It was Ghostbusters. It's, going on now with what else we were just talking
Spider-Man.
about it. Oh, we were just talking before while you were watching wrestling. I did a cast with Vaughn and Sally.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Sony's backup plans because it looks like now they want a hit so bad, and they don't know if Venom is going to do well.
No.
So what we talked about is their plans. They want to reboot 21 Jump Street with females.
Oh my gosh! Why?
This is real. Their take is, well, we've seen the male buddy comedy, combo, and they make it like we've never seen that with females.
It's not nobody.
Which we have seen that plenty of times, but they're like, oh, and we felt we have a great script that we felt, oh, this would be fantastic to have the female elements.
But I feel like nobody, I feel like some of I shouldn't say all of them, but I feel like some of these producers, they don't look at what happens to, other movies. Like look what happened with Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that would be the thing where people would be like, you know what, maybe this isn't a good idea.
Yeah. No, well, Ocean's 8, though, did well, though.
Yeah, but it didn't do as well as they were hoping.
Right.
And critically, it tanked.
Yes.
So, I mean.
So, that this is what they're doing now. Everything's female, and that's why they got, technically now Men in Black did this already, where Will Smith's partner was a female. If you remember the new one, when Tommy Lee Jones' character erased his memory, and then he had a female character, he had a female teammate. So it's not like it wasn't done before, but now they're having Tessa Thompson with Chris Hemsworth, and they're trying to desperately soft reboot it, not because it's going to be a Men in Black 4, 5, and 6 type of thing. So they really think that they have a thing where they can make 3 more movies, which is what they want. But Sony's desperate. They're throwing money at let's go, And they're throwing money at it before somebody says we're selling Sony Pictures. So that's what they're doing. Bad Boys 3, all of a sudden, now they're on board again.
Oh,
and they're so now they go, instead of doing 3, 4, and 5, remember they were going to talk about that too? They're just putting the money towards 3 because it's very unpredictable if they could get Will Smith and Martin Lawrence to bang out too. They got their schedules busy. So Sony's trying to create all this stuff in the background because they feel, I think it's directly because they feel that Venom's going to tank. Because already your leading guy is saying it sucks without saying it sucks. He's not even a director, and he's saying, look, they took the best shit out there. Good luck, man. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah.
He said it without saying it, though.
I mean, we have to. I know I keep saying no, we have to wait till Thursday, but I mean it, and I believe that. I genuinely believe that. But my thing is, it just seems like recently, all signs are pointing to this movie just being really bad.
They're gonna bury this under the rug.
Yeah.
What they're gonna do is this is my prediction. They're gonna look at Thursday previews.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even if it is high, right? The moment they see Friday, Saturday, and the word of mouth spreads, and it starts declining, they're gonna get very scared, like really scared, because their whole thing is based on Venom to have this whole cinematic universe, right? So they're gonna announce. This is what's gonna happen by next week, right? I'm predicting shit's going to go wrong with Venom, right? I really don't think it's going to do well. They're going to fucking announce ridiculous shit to distract that it's bombing. They may even, listen, don't be surprised if they fucking mention like Ghostbusters, a new one with Dan Aykroyd, all of them together, or some stupid shit, or some ridiculous thing, or a sequel franchise that you didn't even expect. Because they need to take away the heat from Venom. Because they're gonna get bombarded with shit, right? That it sucks, and they don't want to be in the spotlight with that. So they're gonna, and then they'll make it superhero fatigue or some shit. They're gonna say whatever.
You know what I think they're gonna do if Venom starts to tank? I honestly think we're gonna get our first teaser for this next Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah. I'm telling you. That's what's happening.
Ghostbusters or Men in Black?
Ghostbusters is going to be announced. They will announce Ghostbusters 2, and it will be a joint thing with the girls, and it's definitely going to happen.
They'll do something. Something. Yeah.
Because people will be so mind-effed focused on that, because and they know this, people are going to come out. That all the people that said it wasn't going to get a sequel, now that it's going to create a frenzy all over the internet, which they want, because we'll totally distract away from Venom. Completely. And that's exactly what they're going to do. It's going to happen. Has to be. There's no way I see this movie making $500 million or $400 million, or even $300 million, maybe.
But again, you know, and this is the thing, and we talked about this last night.
It might make 180.
This is what I'm going to say. Like, if we don't like it, but other people like it, that's going to be a problem.
But you have to understand something too, though. None of the comics, they're like, oh, Venom movie's coming. Like, and this is Marvel. Yeah. They literally put out tons of shit with Venom lately, right? Nowhere do they say, oh, go see the movie. Period. I'm saying period. They are using the movie to get popularity by the books, but they are not promoting it at all, right? They want it to fail, though. That's what nobody understands that. Because then it's easy for them to re-sign Spider-Man. Have to understand what's going on behind the scenes, people. Disney doesn't want it to succeed. They don't want Sony shit to succeed. Because ultimately, Disney wants Spider-Man for themselves. They want to own it, just like Avengers, but they can't because Sony won't give it up. But if Sony's successful, you'll never see Spider-Man, or they'll make it where it's ridiculous price or some shit. So, you know, technically,
if Venom does well, that gives Sony leverage in their next contract signing.
And I don't want them to have leverage.
Me neither.
At all. I'm sorry. This is the weirdest situation ever that I would want a Marvel character to fail. But, like, the consequences are disastrous if Venom does well. Disney will have a hard time with them. Period.
I'm disappointed. I mean, like, I know in the past I've said, you know, based on the trailers, it was like, okay, maybe Venom will do well. But I'm disappointed. I like, part of me has been disappointed since they said that they were making a Venom movie, because I was like, well, I guess that means we're never going to see Venom in the MCU.
And they caught Marvel with their pants down, by the way, because Marvel was like, "What the f?" Remember they even asked him. He didn't even know what was happening. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It was just like a blindsided. Remember what's his name?
Kevin Feige.
Yeah. Didn't they ask him the minute that was announced? He didn't know what the hell was happening.
To be honest, I don't even remember. I know that there was something that he.
It was ridiculous. It was. We were talking about this. I remember.
Well, I remember it was that, and there was that whole thing where she said it was in the MCU, and he was like, "What?
No,
what?"
Right. But now, like, their guys are dogging the shit out of the movie. Like,
yeah,
you're like, no, he's not part of MCU. Like, because they're like, hey, we did Infinity War. What are you going to tell us? Like, you're not going to be scold us because we're doing your Avengers movie.
Well, you know what I find interesting, and I don't know if maybe it already lifted or whatnot, but a really telling sign is that I haven't heard when the embargo for reviews for this movie lifted, and usually that's a bad sign. Because if the embargo lifts really close to the movie, that means they're afraid of the reviews.
Right. And that's the way it's happened right now? I mean,
I still don't think it's lifted. The last time I checked, it still wasn't.
So if they don't lift
like
it, they don't want us to know.
Yeah, that's a telling sign that I learned about in the recent past. The recent past. That's a great way to speak. But anyway,
yeah.
Basically, what will happen is that this they call it a review embargo will lift at a certain amount of time before the movie comes out.
Yeah, like hours.
If it lifts, no, not hours.
Oh.
Sometimes it lifts weeks beforehand.
Right.
And if it lifts a certain amount of time away from the movie, it's considered, there's nothing to worry about.
Right.
But if it lifts,
if it doesn't lift though,
if it doesn't lift or it lifts really close to the movie, that means that the studio is worried about what people are saying about it.
Yes, which they should be.
Yeah.
Because they had the worst fucking teaser ever at that time. We didn't even see anything. Remember that?
And I gotta tell you something too. This might be a spoiler, but we've seen most of this scene in the trailer already. I saw they released officially the scene where Eddie Brock is fighting those goons in his apartment.
Right.
We were either lied to or the trailer was much better than we thought, because there are things in that scene that were awful.
Right.
Specifically Venom's voice. It was not like it was in the trailer.
Right.
It was gargly. It sounded like he was gargling mouthwash.
Right.
And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. He had a deep, raspy voice in the trailer. But specifically, it's after Brock is beating up the goons, and I forget what the symbiote says, but it says something like astounding or something like that.
Right.
And you could barely understand it. It was like, astounding. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And then the CGI, when the symbiote goes up Brock's arm and he punches that one guy, awful.
Right.
Awful. I was watching it and I was like,
I'm trying not to watch it because I don't want to get spoiled, but...
No, but you know what the thing is? That scene is in the trailer.
Yeah, I know.
And it looks better in the trailer. And I was sitting there like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is the worst. This is bad. This is really bad.
I'm worried that when I go see it, that I'm going to want to leave, that it's that bad. Because you have to understand, I know the character in and out. Like,
well, you wanted to leave during Homecoming, too. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Homecoming,
I don't blame you, man. I wanted to leave during Homecoming, too. I really did.
I think I remember I go to Sharon, I'm like, why is he crying? I
said that too.
Why are you doing that?
I knew when I was in that theater, I was about halfway through the movie.
I never talk in the theater.
All I thought about was your reaction. I was like, I cannot wait for Joe to see this.
I was like this, and I'm like, he's locked in a truck.
Yes.
And I'm like,
yes.
Are you fucking kidding me? And then I think I went to, I'm like, Sharon, now he's locked in a fucking warehouse.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this? And don't even get me started when he was climbing the fucking monument there. I was like, he's fucking afraid of heights.
When he said, "Wow, I'm too high up,"
This
I was
motherfucker's afraid of heights. I was like,
when he said that, the first thing that went through my head was, what did he just say? And then I repeated it in my head, and I was like, said Spider-Man. I was like, what is happening?
And I'm like, where's the spider sense? And then he fucked up with the elevator, and she said something to him, like the girl. Like, I was like, what? Especially when he started being a klutz with the ferry.
Yes.
And the Vulture's like, yeah, don't do that because it's gonna, the villain. The fucking villain is telling you that's gonna kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like I'm a villain, but I'm not a dick. Like I don't want people to die like that. So like maybe you shouldn't do that.
Well, when he webbed it to the ferry, I was sitting there like, why don't you just throw it in the water?
Right.
It's right there. You're on a ferry.
So I was like, oh my God, no. What am I? You don't even know how crushed I was. You thought I was crushed when I took a picture? What did I see? Was it Batman?
Batman versus Superman.
I was fucking in Dunkin' Donuts, and I was like this, like.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like fucking genuinely like wrapped. And that's DC. That's not even my mean shit.
Yeah.
But when I saw this shit, I was like fucking done. I was like, it's over. I didn't think they were going to make a Spider-Man movie for a long time.
Yeah. But my first thing was like when the suit went into that instant kill mode, I was like, oh, so they just don't care.
Right.
This is that to me tells me that they want this suit to be like the light Iron Man suit.
But this was like Knight Rider, or even like he's taught communication. I was like, wait, what? I gotta tell you, like I was like, oh, they're not making any more Spider-Man movies for a long time. I really thought that. And then when people are liking this, I'm like, why are people liking this? Like I was going to comic shops, I'm like, why do they like this? Like. Yeah. Even people not Spider-Man fans like this, but I'm like, what? Why? I gotta tell you, because you know how I am when I hate something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was never gonna have that in my house. Joe, my son knew I hated it, but he felt that I would turn around. He bought it for me, and he left it for me, so I could watch it. Like, here's your copy, Dad. Somehow you'll watch it multiple times. Like, I know, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, But like, of course, I'm not going to say no, but not with Last Jedi. No, that will not be in here. No. Don't get me started about this rumor today either.
Which one?
This rumor that Luke is fighting Darth Vader on the jungle planet like the ghosts, and Kylo Ren is running with Rey. What?
Don't buy into that.
What is that shit?
Yeah, no, don't buy into that too much.
I thought Sith don't have ghosts.
Well, no, but what A, don't believe that, and B, it wouldn't actually be a Force ghost. It would be like a Force, quote-unquote, manifestation. Kind of like the tree on Dagobah, how that wasn't really Vader. That's what they were trying to imply.
But so it would be a really Force Luke ghost fighting an evil presence?
Sort of.
But they're dead.
Yeah, but like if you're in a dark side nexus or something like that, it can take the form of different beings.
But
so
they're
it's not
dead.
Really them. It's
it's not really Luke, in other words?
No, it's not. First of all, I don't think that's even true. And second of all, if it was, that's most likely what they're trying to say.
That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, but
that would be ridiculous.
Don't buy into that too much.
No, that's ridiculous. I'm not. Listen, I know they want to make some Darth Vader sales and shit, and get new figures and stuff, but not real. No, not like that. I mean, that's definitely like, oh, Star Wars is going out of business. Let's throw Darth Vader in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you know what I'm saying. They would do that, but like,
I don't mind like a Force manifestation of Vader showing up, but that should not be.
I don't want to see that because we already seen that his ghost is good, like he's Anakin. So that's a paradox to me. Like, I can't see that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be that Force Ghost though. Like it's not really the Anakin Force Ghost. It's just a manifestation of the dark side.
Of Vader.
No. It's the dark side pretending to be Vader, basically.
But so why even bother pretend to be Luke?
So okay, wait. So go back to Empire Strikes Back, right?
Right.
Remember
Dagobah, the cave. Darth Vader was in the cave. Right.
That wasn't really Vader.
Right.
That was a manifestation of the dark side, of Luke's dark side, basically.
Right. Okay.
That's basically what they're trying to say this would be, except it wouldn't be a manifestation of Luke's dark side.
Why don't they just say something that, like, explains Last Jedi and Dagobah, that there's a reason why on those both planets there's this huge, heavy, evil thing. Like,
oh yeah, they've already basically explained that. They just explain it in other media. Basically, Octu and Dagobah are both what they call nexuses of the Force.
Okay.
Where in these certain areas, the Force is stronger. I don't want to say congregates, but it's almost like it flows there much more strongly than in other parts of the galaxy. So Dagobah is a known dark side nexus. That's why Yoda went there, because the dark side on that planet is so strong that it basically cancels out his presence in the Force.
Right.
So nobody can find him.
Right, okay.
That's why Palpatine couldn't sense him. That's why Vader couldn't sense him.
Right.
So Yoda went there because in Clone Wars, Qui-Gon told him, go to this planet. You'll be able to learn how to do the Force Ghost ability and become one with the Force after you pass on, after you leave the physical realm.
Right.
Octu is different. Octu is not necessarily a dark side nexus. It's basically a Force nexus where the light and the dark side are basically at balance.
Okay.
So it's basically, Octu is very similar to the planet Typhon from the Legends canon.
Okay.
Where that was where the first Force users, or really they were sort of like the first Jedi.
Right.
They started to learn to use the Force there. And what they would do is, if you were in balance with the Force, if you balanced your light and dark side, you could stay on the planet.
Okay.
If you leaned toward the dark or the light, Typhon had two moons that were also in their own way like a nexus.
Okay.
One of the moons was called Ashla, which is the light, and the other one was called Bogan, which is the dark. Okay. And if you leaned one way or the other, you would go to one of these two moons.
Okay.
So in canon, Octu doesn't have the two moons as far as we know, but it is in balance, and apparently that's why the first Jedi Temple was there. And if you look at some of the stuff that Luke had around him, specifically there's this painting on the floor when he's talking to Rey about the Jedi and about Darth Sidious and whatnot.
Right.
You see this being sitting there in this painting, cross-legged, and it's got like the yin-yang kind of thing.
Right.
Which is representing balance in the Force.
Okay.
So that's why I'm of the mindset that Luke went there, because the original Jedi were not so much stay with the Ashla, stay with the light, but they were more so be in balance.
Okay.
Which is, again, why I like the idea of Grey Jedi, but anyway. So that's really what they're trying to say with Octu and Dagobah. And there are other planets in Star Wars that are considered Force nexuses too.
Now go back to Spider-Man for a second. Let's talk about the suit.
The new one?
Yeah.
So this is spoilers for Spider-Man Far From Home. So if you don't want to know, stop watching now. So there's these set videos of Spider-Man wearing some sort of black suit.
Yeah. I shared it already with people, but we could do it again, I guess. Now, who gives him these suits, though?
I think it's either Nick Fury or he makes them himself.
Okay.
I would actually like to see him make them himself, to be honest with you.
So that he gets his first ever black suit, but it's not Venom, obviously.
It's not this symbiote. Apparently, it's some sort of stealth suit.
Right.
That I'm hearing he wears when he's overseas.
Now he wears this because he can't web swing?
I think it's that, and I think it's also, it has something to do with him trying to make people think that maybe there's more than one Spider-Man, and they wear, like, one wears a different suit than the other. So basically, like, people know he went overseas, and then all of a sudden Spider-Man shows up overseas.
Peter Parker's there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what they're doing.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that it's like a way to throw people off. Like, oh, look, that Spider-Man's wearing a different suit. The one in New York wears blue and red.
Right.
But this one wears black, you know.
Okay. Gotcha.
It makes sense to me. I think it's actually it's a good idea. Like, it's like, okay, well, Peter Parker's all of a sudden in Europe, and oh, look, Spider-Man showed up. Like, you know, so it's like.
Yeah. I don't know. But then, who's the villain is Mysterio, right?
The villain is Mysterio. There are set photos of him.
But there's also the Vulture in it. As what, a cameo or no?
I think it's going to be a cameo because I think they're setting up that Sinister Six.
But isn't there supposed to be other villains in this?
I heard that Hydra Man was also in this.
Yeah, and I heard besides Hydra Man, there was other villains in this.
Well, I'm thinking
like
probably
there was
have
three out of the six.
Right.
Which, I mean, supposedly, there's three villains. Another one appears at the end, maybe after credits. The person that hired Mysterio to steal the Stark tech is the leader of the Sinister Six. It's supposedly like Doc Ock or something, or Otto Octavius or whatever. Now, if I was them, I would just rehire Alfred Molina. He's Doc Ock, you know, in this universe too. Mm-hmm. Which that would shock the shit out of people. And people are like, oh, shit, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of just, you know, getting it's another universe. Instead of just getting another Doc Ock, another actor, get him. And he's going to be a cameo anyway, you know?
I think that at this point, they're most likely going to recast him.
Yeah, I know. It's probably going to.
So, but basically, too, the other villain that could potentially show up, maybe not as like a main villain, but they did have Matt Gargan in Homecoming. So, right. Scorpion, you know, I'm assuming that's going to be, you know, he's going to be one of the Sinister Six there. So.
Right. So, Electro is not going to be in it.
I don't think. Yeah, I think they're going to stay away from Electro because of, you know, he was in Amazing too.
Yeah. So it's going to be
Vulture, Scorpion, Mysterio, maybe Hydra Man. That's 4 right there.
Hydra Man is going to be in the Sinister Six.
If he's in this movie, apparently, I mean, I can't see why they wouldn't.
Oh God, he's not really. He's the other team though. There was a team called the Sinister Syndicate. But it wasn't like the Sinister Six. It was the B team. Mm-hmm. You know, like the lower guys.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean,
I could foresee them doing Doc Ock though, because I honestly think that they're gonna save someone like the Green Goblin for something else. They can't do Venom, obviously. So I mean.
Yeah, Goblin's gonna probably appear as Norman Osborn in somebody's movie. Like Black Cat or something.
The one that bought the Avengers Tower.
So now did Stark sell it because he don't want like all the villains to come to the city to fight them? Is that what it is?
He sold it, but they never said who he sold it to.
So I thought he sold it to Fantastic Four.
That's one of the prevailing theories, is that that's going to become like the Baxter Building.
Yeah.
I just have this thing in my head that Norman Osborn is the one that bought it, and that's going to become the Oscorp building. I don't know why. Like, I've heard that. I'm not the one that came up with that theory. That's a theory, but it just makes the most sense to me because I think they announced like this became a thing. Like, who bought the Avengers Tower? It became something right around the time Marvel was like, Spider-Man's going to be a big part of Phase 4.
Right.
And I was like, oh well, they're saying that, and they're also saying that they don't have any plans for the Fantastic Four yet. So it's like...
Now, not to change the subject, but I heard something towards the effect of when they undo the snap, that supposedly brings things into the universe, like that we didn't know were out of the universe, like the X-Men and Fantastic Four. No, is that just a rumor?
I haven't heard that. That doesn't mean it's not true.
Right.
But apparently they don't have any plans for any of this stuff yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I personally don't believe that they don't have any plans for this stuff yet. I think they know.
If it would happen, it would be Phase 5, probably, right? Because
I would think so. Yeah.
Phase 4 is crowded already.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Black Panther 2. We got Doctor Strange 2. That's two we definitely know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 2 is part of Phase 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the last thing part of Phase 3 is the Avengers.
Avengers 4, yeah.
Right. So Phase 4 will be Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and then we heard
Guardians
that
3 potentially.
What's that?
Guardians 3 potentially.
Well, yeah, and Black Widow, right?
Yeah.
Black Widow, they want Black Widow. And then Ant-Man 3.
I wonder if they're going to consider that Loki show and that Scarlet Witch show part of that.
They're part of the universe, but they're going to be on the streaming service.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're going to consider them part of a phase. Like,
well, would they have a Vision Scarlet Witch movie, and then they'll get a show or no?
No, I mean I think they're just getting the show. But basically, what I'm trying to say is like since they are main character, like it's not like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Like, I think the phases just have to do with the movies, not.
They do, but this is the first time that an actual character from the movies is getting a show.
So it's still part of the phase.
So it's I'm wondering if that's still going to connect to the phase somehow.
And Asgard's got to be restored, right?
Either Asgard's going to get restored or there's going to be like a new Asgard.
And the Hammer's probably going to be restored too.
I'm assuming so.
And everything's going to go back to the way it was, being worthy and stuff. It's going to be back to normal.
Like, I think he's going to keep... If Stormbreaker isn't, like, destroyed or something, I think he's going to keep it. I just don't think he's going to use it that often.
I don't think he's going to keep it because I think what's going to happen is I think it's going to get lost and then Better Ray Bill's going to have it.
That could be, yeah.
And they're going to do a Better Ray Bill movie.
That would be different.
And because they won't have a Thor movie. Unless they have a Thor 4 that they'll introduce
with Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah. And at the end, he gives him the Stormbreaker.
That could be. I would be cool with that. That would be pretty interesting.
We also may have the Nova movie.
Yes.
Talking about that. They can introduce like Darkhawk or Sleepwalk. I don't know if they're going to do that. They could have a Nick Fury movie. I don't know if they're going to do that.
I don't know if they're going to do that anymore because apparently he's going to be a big part of Captain Marvel. So, I mean, do they really need it, you know?
Like the past, yeah. I heard that there's a new Captain America movie. And that Steve Rogers doesn't die, but he wants Bucky to be Captain America. And he basically gives him his blessing. And Bucky becomes Captain America, but the government doesn't want Bucky. They want Falcon. And there will be a movie where they'll be in conflict over the mantle.
That'd be interesting.
You know. But I don't know if they're going to do that, though. And then the Red Skull could show up, too. Pop in there, too. That really messed things up. Thor 4, I don't know if they're going to get Taka back. Right now, he's not on the contract anymore. Chris Hemsworth. Except for, like, his reshoots and stuff, right? But
as far as I know, yeah, I haven't heard anything about a Thor 4. Though it wouldn't surprise me if they did one, because Ragnarok did pretty well. And,
God, what did I say that? Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Dolittle got delayed a year. Which is from Disney. And I know that he's doing Sherlock also. Third one. So, All right. Anything else?
As far as I know, no.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye for now.